Yeah, he's still alive.
Y'all get a paramedic here.
He look like he's still moving, dude.
Get a paramedic. He's still moving.
Come back home, same place I'm from, got the same ethnicity.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, nah, you know, we descend from East Africa. That's where our family come from, our folks come from.
Big U tried to take off on Nip, and Fats took off on Big U and set him on his pockets in front of everybody. A week later, Fats was out of here.
Some people say one of the most dangerous hoods to be a part of is the Rollin' 60s, and a lot of that has to do with a certain belief that's often brought up in the streets. This idea that you're not really a 60 until you've killed one. A prime example of this is the story of Nipsey Hussle. Even after all the love, fame, and respect he brought to his neighborhood, he was still gunned down by someone from the same hood he repped so hard. And it's not just Nip, there were others before him, people close to him who also lost their lives under similar circumstances. One of those people was Sandman Negus. Sandman was a first-generation Eritrean American who grew up deep in the dime block section of the Rollin' 60s territory. His family and Nipsey's family were close. In fact, their parents knew each other well, so Sandman and Nipsey had known each other since they were kids.
Come from back home, same place I'm from, got the same ethnicity.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, nah, you know, we descend from East Africa. That's where our family come from, our folks come from.
Even though Sandman wasn't officially jumped into the set, he was respected as an honorary member because he was from the neighborhood and was embraced by the people there. He worked at his family's gas station, a place known in the area as Club Shell, where a lot of 60s used to hang out. Before Nipsey got his full push from Big U and the Unique Music Entertainment label, Sandman was actually the first artist that Big U was developing. He had talent and was beginning to gain attention for his music.
Sandman Negus, coming at you. Got next. No, he got now. Watch you.
But before long, things took a dark turn. One night after leaving the studio and dropping a friend off, Sandman was ambushed in traffic. He was shot through the front windshield of his car, hit 9 times in total. Bullets tore through his colon, liver, both lungs, his shoulders, neck, and more. Somehow, he survived, though he was in a coma for 26 days and had to go through 8 surgeries just to recover. Despite the trauma, Sandman bounced back and poured all his focus into music. He and Nipsey would talk strategy, figuring out how to grow his name and push his mixtapes. He started building a real buzz in South LA's underground scene. But sadly, that momentum was cut short. On September 27, 2012, just 4 years after the first shooting, Sandman was killed at the age of 26 on the 4300 block of Crenshaw Boulevard, not far from Big U's studio. While details about his death remain cloudy, many in the streets have speculated that his murder was connected to people from the same Rollin' 60s set. Shady Blue. Another tragic story from the same world is Shady Blue, real name Danius Nichols. On March 31, 2021, the exact date Nipsey Hussle was killed 2 years earlier, Shady was shot and killed while sitting in his car at a mobile gas station on East Palmdale Boulevard in Los Angeles County. It was around 1:24 in the afternoon when police got a call about a shooting. By the time they arrived, a crowd had already formed around a white car where Shady was found slumped in the driver's seat. He had been shot, and even though paramedics got there quickly, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Though law enforcement didn't immediately release his name, word spread fast on social media. Everyone who knew him or followed the local scene knew it was Shady Blue. He was just 24 years old. Like Nipsey, Shady was a known and respected member of the Rollin' 60s, and they had been close. Nipsey even mentioned Shady in his song Keys to the City, with lines like, "Pull up in that old school, me and Lil Shady Blue. Fresh up out the county jail, they held us both without no bail."
Pull up in that old school, me and Lil Shady Blue. Fresh about the county jail, they held us both without no bail.
The eerie coincidence of his death happening on the anniversary of Nipsey's murder only made it feel more tragic. 2 respected men, both gunned down, both from the same gang, both caught in the cycle of violence that doesn't seem to stop, even among those from the same side. Fats. Next up is Stephen Giles Fats Donaldson. Fats was Nipsey's childhood friend and was like a brother to Nipsey. In 2017, he was killed in a drive-by shooting, and rumor has it Big U had something to do with it. The story goes that Fats confronted Big U for pressing Nipsey, and just a week after that incident, Fats was gone.
Big U tried to take off on Nip, and Fats took off on Big U and set him on his pockets in front of everybody. A week later, That's what that is.
Lil Eddie Boy. Another person close to Nipsey Hussle who ended up being killed by someone from the same hood was Lil Eddie Boy. Eddie was also a member of the Rollin' 60s and had a falling out with another 60s member named Dharmer in September 2008. The two of them got into a fight in front of several other Rollin' 60s, and it's believed that Nipsey Hussle was even there when it happened. During the fight, Eddie Boy punched Dharmer hard and basically won the fight, but Dharmer couldn't handle the loss. He took it personally and wanted to get back at Eddie. A few weeks later, on October 6, 2008, Dharmer reached out to another Rollin' 60s member named Tiny Turtle and asked for help in killing Eddie Boy. Tiny Turtle agreed to go along with a plan. Later, the two of them found Eddie Boy sitting in a parked car with a woman near 63rd and Crenshaw. Tiny Turtle pulled up his car next to theirs, and Dharmer jumped out with a gun. He opened fire on Eddie Boy and the woman, shooting them both multiple times. Once the shooting was done, Dharmer got back in the car with Tiny Turtle, and they sped off. When LAPD arrived at the scene, they found Eddie Boy's car shot up, and both he and the woman were dead inside. They had each been shot 4 times, and police found 11 shell casings at the scene. At the time, they had no suspects. It wasn't until 5 years later, when Tiny Turtle was arrested for a different murder he and Dharmer were involved in, that the truth came out. During that investigation, both men confessed to killing Eddie Boy. Eventually, they were both sentenced. Tiny Turtle got life without the possibility of parole, and Dharmer got 2 life terms plus another 100 years to life. Nipsey Hussle. And finally, we get to Nipsey Hussle himself. Technically, the Nipsey case was already solved. Everyone knows Eric Holder, a Rollin' 60s Crip, was the one who killed Nip in 2019. But over the years, rumors have circulated that Big U might have had something to do with it. One of the biggest things making waves right now is a video of Loose Cannon, where he claims Big U knew that Nipsey was going to get killed 30 minutes before it happened.
So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey, and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. So after I talked to Nipsey, and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that. I'll see you later, or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey.
According to Luce, he actually spoke to Nipsey right before the shooting, but never thought much of what Big U had supposedly said at the time. He didn't take it too seriously. That means Big U might have slipped up by reaching out too early before Nipsey was murdered.
You
and
just
30 minutes after you get out the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yeah, I got it.
So you think he hit you a little too early?
Yep, he hit me a little bit too early.
Another video in particular is one video showing Nipsey seemingly trying to warn other members of the Rollin' 60s Crips to stay away from the likes of Big U and his circle.
Jealous of young niggas. It's a lot of old niggas mad at niggas because they shit on, cuz. We grew up around these niggas wondering so spiteful toward young.
When you put that together with all the allegations, it paints a picture that's got a lot of people thinking twice. Another clip that's gaining traction is one of Big U doing a live stream where he literally laughed at a comment about Nipsey.
Justice for Nip.
A young boy would have been there like, yeah,
You did.
Now, Big U and Nipsey weren't always at odds. In fact, at one point, they were actually close business partners. Their relationship goes back to 2007 when Nipsey signed with Epic Records in preparation for what was supposed to be his debut studio album, South Central State of Mind. However, that album never saw the light of day, and as time went on, tensions began to brew between Nipsey and Big U. The real breaking point was Nipsey wanting to cut ties with Big U's label. Allegedly, Nipsey felt trapped in a shady deal, one where he believed he was being extorted by Big U. But if you ask Big U, he has a different version of events. According to him, the conflict actually started when he stepped away from the music industry. During that time, Nipsey had possession of Big U's recording equipment, and when Big U wanted it back, Nipsey wasn't too happy about it. Eventually, Big U was able to recover his equipment, but that situation alone led to some serious friction between the two. From there, things just continued to spiral. Nipsey reportedly took offense to how Big U handled the situation, and their relationship started to shift. Then came You Don't Got a Clue, a track that many believe was a direct diss aimed at Big U, especially in the first few lines.
Busy getting rich, you think that I'm gonna stop for you? I built this on my own and everybody know it's true.
Big U wasn't just going to let it slide either. After hearing the track, he and some of his people pulled up on Nipsey to confront him. According to sources, they didn't just want to check on him, they wanted to discipline him, and that didn't involve any sort of peaceful conversation.
Nipsey dissed, right? And he was like, hey, cuz, is this song about me? So Nipsey stood up or whatever and was like, yeah.
They allegedly tried to take him away for a DP or disciplinary action, but before things could go any further, Blacc, Nipsey's brother, stepped in. Blacc Sam stood his ground, telling Big U that Nipsey wasn't going anywhere with him. Big U wasn't having it, warning Blacc Sam to stay out of it, saying this was gang business, and reminded him that he was never actually from the 60s.
Blacc Sam said, cuz my brother ain't going nowhere. You was like, ain't from the hood or whatever like that. He was like, my brother ain't going nowhere.
But the tension between them didn't stop at just music and business. Their family ties added even more fuel to the fire. Nipsey's first baby mother was actually Big U's niece, and during that time, things between Nipsey and her weren't great. Nipsey didn't approve of the company she kept around their daughter. Allegedly, there were guns, drugs, and alcohol present, and Nipsey wasn't going to stand for it. One incident in particular escalated things further. Nipsey reportedly went over to his baby mother's house alone and ended up pistol whipping a guy she was involved with. The altercation got ugly, and the man was beaten so badly that he had to be taken to the hospital. In the chaos, it was said that his baby mother might have been hurt as well. Once Big U caught wind of what happened, he immediately pulled up to Nipsey's store to confront him. Heated words were exchanged, and things quickly turned physical. According to sources, Big U beat Nipsey down, which led to Blacc Sam running inside to grab a pistol. In an attempt to break things up, Blacc Sam fired a warning shot in the air, but that only made things worse. Within moments, LAPD swarmed the scene. When the police arrived, they saw Blacc Sam with a gun still in his hand, and without hesitation, they opened fire on him. Miraculously, not a single bullet hit him. Instead of being killed, he was arrested on the spot, along with Nipsey and Big U. The three of them were taken to the 77th Street Division, but they all managed to bail out the next morning. Despite all the tension, Nipsey continued to rise in the music industry. In 2011, he started collaborating with YG, and that came with its own set of problems. At the time, it was not common to see Pyrus hanging out in 60s territory, but Nipsey wasn't one to follow outdated politics.
YG can come to our hood. He's a blood. He's from Pyru. He can come to the 60s. I can go over there. I've been over there with my jewelry on and being myself, and they, they respect it. They love it. I was unheard of. You couldn't do that. So it's different right now. Not to say it's like a gang treaty, a peace treaty. It's not that, but they know we pushing for the city. Right. So, the streets behind it, and they respect it.
When they filmed the Girls Ain't Ish video, Nipsey invited YG to the 60s, and that did not sit right with Big U. He made it known that he disapproved, and Nipsey had to defend his decision. He ended up fighting multiple Rollin' 60s members just to have YG there. That respect was mutual. YG later invited Nipsey into Treetop Pyru territory for another video shoot, and the two built a strong friendship from there. Over time, Nipsey's career skyrocketed. He went from being an underground street rapper to a Grammy-nominated artist. But even with all his success, the issues with Big U were still lurking in the background. At times, it seemed like things between them were cooling down. They would be on decent terms for brief moments, but there was always tension under the surface. And on top of that, Big U had gained a reputation for allegedly extorting artists who wanted to come into 60s territory. According to rumors, any rapper or big-name artist looking to step foot in the neighborhood had to check in and pay a tax to Big U if they wanted to move around without any problems. Then came early 2019. He had linked up with DJ Khaled and John Legend for the song Higher and planned to shoot the music video in the 60s, but as soon as Big U heard about it, things took a turn. Allegedly, he sent a gang of Rollin' 60s members to press Nipsey about it. Nipsey stood his ground, but the pressure was overwhelming. In the end, he was forced to relocate the entire video shoot to the top of a parking structure in Inglewood. Security had to be beefed up as well because Nipsey was receiving death threats, supposedly from the Inglewood families, a dominant blood gang in the city. Then, just days later, Nipsey Hussle was murdered. Almost immediately, speculation began swirling that Big U had something to do with it. People started piecing together their rocky history, their past altercations, and the fact that Big U did not attend Nipsey's funeral. With so many people gone, especially those who were close to Nipsey, it's hard not to wonder who could be next. The streets are always talking, and now with Big U behind bars, some say it might be because certain people have been exposing him and shedding light on things he didn't want out there. If that's true, there's a real possibility that the Rollin' 60s might try to go after the people speaking out. And one name that's been coming up in a lot of those conversations is Blacc Sam, Nipsey Hussle's older brother. If there's one thing he's been doing, it's speaking up against Big U and his crew, and even after his brother was killed by the very same people, Blacc Sam hasn't changed his stance one bit. In fact, he seems even more fearless, standing on business and protecting Nipsey's legacy at all costs. A perfect example of this happened at the grand opening of Marathon Burger in Los Angeles, a restaurant Blacc Sam opened to honor Nipsey. That day, he got into a heated argument with West Boulevard Crip Rockstar 2800.
No, bro, you say you gotta go, bro. You got you. You got come on. You gotta go, bro.
It's not exactly clear what started it, but from the video, it seemed like Blacc Sam made it clear anyone who didn't take action against the people who disrespected Nipsey Hussle wasn't welcome around them anymore. He wasn't entertaining any fake love.
Demonstrate for Hussle. This is what I'm telling you. Don't come over here. Don't come over here trying to then guess what? Go do something and come back. Go get cracking and come back. That's what I said, bro.
Even when Rockstar tried to defend himself, Blacc Sam wasn't having it. He sent him on his way right then and there.
Ain't nobody disrespected, bro, in my prison. I'm on the internet. When you see that internet shit, bro, when you see it get cracked, when you see it get cracked, I can't tell. You know what's happening. I can't tell.
And it didn't stop there. Another person who got pressed by Blacc Sam was Blacc Baby, who to this day remains friends with Eric Holder, the man who shot and killed Nipsey. Blacc Sam confronted him about it, making it known that keeping ties with Nipsey's killer wasn't going to slide.
Me and Sam had a disagreement.
I mean, was it because of the ass thing?
Yeah, that's why I said over the obvious. You know what it was over. It basically was like, you rocking with him? Like, nigga, you rocking with him? Nigga, I'm rocking with my brother. And we, you know, it really wasn't no words at first. It was all action.
According to Blacc Baby, even though he doesn't agree with what Eric Holder did, he still considers him a friend because Holder once saved his life.
And it's like, I'm rocking with him. What you want me to say? I'm rocking with cuz, like, nigga saved my life before. I ain't rocking with him over that what he did.
But in a wild twist of fate, Blacc Baby himself is now in custody, alongside Big U. Wack 100. Next is Wack 100. Wack and Big U used to be real close, but their relationship eventually fell apart, and ever since then, Wack 100 hasn't held back on speaking about Big U. In fact, before Big U turned himself in, one of the people he pointed fingers at was Wack 100, along with Loose Cannon and 600. In a video Big U posted, he said, "I just want to say this. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, Loose Cannon, 600, and this internet stuff, all of y'all foul."
When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about Wack. Wack, Loose Cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all foul.
Big U even went as far as accusing Wack 100 of cooperating with the feds. If he had something against a black man, handle it with a black man in the streets, he said. Wack said 100 times he was going to take my contracts, he working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. Big U is currently dealing with a serious wave of indictments. With so much evidence stacked against him, there's a good chance that some of his own guys are going to flip to reduce their own sentences. The feds already have 50+ witnesses, informants, phone records, and videos, and once dudes start talking to save themselves, it's a wrap.